The night was unusually quiet in the small town of Glenville. The full moon cast a gentle glow over the cosy living room of the old Bellamy house. Its wooden walls were adorned with family portraits and shelves filled with books. The fireplace crackled, adding warmth to the room. It was the perfect setting for a spooky tale. In the middle of the room sat the Thompson family. Sarah and John Thompson, along with their two kids, Emily and Jake, were gathered around the coffee table. They were enjoying a game of Monopoly, laughing and teasing each other. The family dog, Max, lay lazily by the fireplace, occasionally lifting his head to watch the game. The clock struck midnight and a chill ran through the room. The laughter died down as the atmosphere changed. Sarah looked around, puzzled. "Did anyone else feel that?" she asked. John nodded, looking equally confused. Emily and Jake exchanged nervous glances. Suddenly the room grew colder. The flames in the fireplace flickered and dimmed. Max started growling softly, his eyes fixed on the dark corner of the room. "What's going on?" Jake whispered, his voice trembling. The family huddled closer together, sensing that something strange was about to happen. As the chill deepened, a low whisper echoed through the room. "Help me!" The Thompson family froze. The voice was faint but clear, and it seemed to come from nowhere. Emily clutched her mother's arm, her eyes wide with fear. "Did you hear that?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. John stood up, trying to appear brave. "It's probably just the wind," he said, though he wasn't convinced. He walked towards the dark corner where Max was still growling. The air felt heavy, and an odd smell of lavender filled his nostrils. "Who's there?" he called out, his voice wavering. The whisper came again, this time louder. "Help me!" John took a step back, bumping into the coffee table. The family watched in horror as a faint, glowing figure began to materialize in the corner. It was a young woman in an old-fashioned dress, her eyes filled with sorrow. She looked directly at them, her lips moving soundlessly. Sarah gasped, recognizing the figure from one of the portraits on the wall. "That's Elizabeth Bellamy!" she exclaimed. "She lived here over 100 years ago." The family stared at the ghostly figure, torn between fear and curiosity. What did she want from them? Elizabeth Bellamy's spirit floated closer to the family, her translucent form shimmering in the dim light. "I need your help," she said, her voice echoing in the stillness. The Thompson family was too stunned to speak. Max's growling turned into a whimper as he hid behind the couch. Emily, gathering her courage, stepped forward. "What do you need help with?" she asked, her voice trembling but steady. Elizabeth's eyes softened. "I need to find something very important," she explained. "A locket. It holds the key to a mystery that has kept me bound to this house." John, feeling a mix of fear and excitement, nodded. "We'll help you find it," he promised. The ghost smiled, her sadness lifting slightly. "Thank you," she whispered. "It is hidden somewhere in this house. But beware, there are other spirits who do not want it to be found." The family exchanged worried glances, but agreed to help. They began searching the living room, lifting cushions and checking drawers. The atmosphere grew tense as strange noises echoed through the house. Doors creaked and shadows danced on the walls. Yet, despite the eerie occurrences, the Thompson family pressed on, determined to help Elizabeth. As the search continued, the Thompsons found themselves in the attic, a dusty and forgotten place filled with old furniture and cobwebs. The air was thick with the smell of age. Emily sneezed, breaking the silence. "This place gives me the creeps," Jake muttered, shining his flashlight around. Sarah spotted an old chest in the corner. "Maybe the locket is in there," she suggested. John and Emily helped her open it, revealing a collection of yellowed letters, a few trinkets, and at the very bottom a small, ornate locket. "This must be it," John said, holding it up. The ghost of Elizabeth Bellamy appeared beside them, her eyes wide with hope. "You found it!" she exclaimed. As she reached for the locket, a sudden gust of wind blew through the attic, slamming the door shut. The room grew colder, and the family could hear faint whispers all around them. Other spirits began to materialize, their faces twisted in anger. "You must not take the locket," one of them hissed. Elizabeth stood her ground, her form glowing brighter. "The locket holds the truth," she declared. "It must be revealed." The Thompson family felt a mix of fear and determination. They knew they had to help Elizabeth, no matter the cost. The tension in the attic was palpable. The hostile spirits circled around the family, their whispers growing louder. "Why do you resist?" one of them demanded. Elizabeth held the locket tightly. "Because this locket holds the truth about my death," she replied. "I was wronged and I need to set it right." John stepped forward, addressing the angry spirits. "We just want to help," he said calmly. "If this locket can bring peace, then let us use it." The spirits hesitated, their forms flickering. Elizabeth opened the locket, revealing a small, folded piece of paper inside. She read it aloud, her voice steady and clear. The paper contained a confession from Elizabeth's jealous cousin, admitting to causing her untimely death. As the truth was revealed, the hostile spirits began to fade, their anger dissipating. "Thank you," Elizabeth whispered, her form growing more solid. "You have freed me." The attic seemed to brighten as the oppressive atmosphere lifted. The Thompson family sighed in relief, feeling a sense of accomplishment. Elizabeth smiled at them, her eyes filled with gratitude. "You have given me peace," she said. "I can finally move on." With Elizabeth at peace, the Thompson family returned to the living room, feeling a mixture of relief and excitement. Max, sensing the change, wagged his tail happily. "That was the spookiest game of Monopoly ever," Jake joked, trying to lighten the mood. The family laughed, the tension finally broken. As they settled back into their cozy living room, they reflected on their adventure. "I can't believe we just helped a ghost," Emily said, shaking her head in amazement. "It's like something out of a movie." Sarah nodded, a smile on her face. "Well, it's certainly a night we'll never forget." The clock chimed softly, marking the end of their spooky tale. The living room felt warm and inviting once more, with the fire crackling merrily in the hearth. The Thompson family knew that their home would always hold a special place in their hearts, filled with memories of a ghostly encounter that brought them closer together. As they turned off the lights and headed to bed, a final gentle whisper echoed through the room. "Thank you," it was Elizabeth, bidding them farewell. The Thompsons smiled, knowing they had made a difference. Their haunted house was now a place of peace, with a story to tell for generations to come.